Good afternoon out there, everybody. Alan D9J Sports. We're right back at it with another show. Hope everybody's doing good out there today. Know that it's blistering hot in the 409. We've got a good show lined up for you today. But first, I want to tell all my subscribers out there, thank you for continuing to rock with me, man. Appreciate all that you guys do. But hey, let's jump right into it. We got several topics we want to talk about. We're going to start off with the one. MJ's return, ladies and gentlemen. Micheal Jeffrey Jordan, the GOAT himself, will be returning back to the NBA. No, not as a player, ladies and gentlemen. He's a little bit too old for that. But he'll be a special guest next fall when they start back up in the NBA on NBC. Now, Micheal won't be on every single show, but he will be a special contributor, ladies and gentlemen. So what does that mean for us real diehard basketball fans from the old school? Well, I'm here to tell you, things are going to change. So when you sit up and you listen to the NBA right now, you listen to all these different analysts and they have their opinion about things. Well, what are you going to think when MJ says something? What do you think that's going to mean? What it's going to mean is all these podcasts and all these shows with all these mediocre players come and giving their opinion. When MJ speaks, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be volumes, ladies. It's gonna mean volumes to the National Basketball Association. Why is MJ coming back? Well, I think, and just my opinion, I think that Micheal Jordan is one of those people who knows and understands that the National Basketball Association is struggling right now with viewership. What better way to get the viewership up? Come back on NBC. Come back, be a special contributor. And when Micheal Jordan, let's be honest, we just want to hear Mike talk. That's what we want to hear him talk about. So when Mike tells you that a player is giving a half-hearted effort, who's going to question that? When Mike tells you that a player is a closer and a player has the ability to be one of the greats, you know that you're going to rock with it. It's MJ. So for the fake narrative of who's the real GOAT, well, I wonder what they're going to have to say over there at Clutch City when MJ comes back. Remember on this show, I told you a long time ago, when Micheal Jordan started his own podcast, it would rule. We know that Shannon Sharp has a great podcast, and there are so many of them. Shannon Sharp, you've got. I mean, I like Cam Newton's podcast. Of course, I like Ticket TV, and if you don't know who Ticket TV is, he's a hell of a reporter. He reports out on everything. But all of those podcasts right there, and the sports podcast, hey man, they're gonna not be shut down, but you're gonna have to listen to when MJ is speaking. I can't wait for it. It's gonna be incredible to see the GOAT back on TV talking about basketball. Now we know he has things going on with auto racing and all that, but there's going to be nothing like the GOAT himself talking to us about basketball. I guarantee you that the ratings are going to go up. They're going to go up because you just want to tune in just to see the man. You know he has an aura about him. Just being around him, you hear so many stories about him, about how his presence and how he walks into a room. You know there's one thing when an alpha male walks in, but when you've got the top dog walking in, you know things are going to be great. So once again, let's keep this thing moving. But before we do, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the like and subscribe button. So let's talk a little bit about Canelo and Terrence Crawford, the fight that's going to be coming up in September. What are your thoughts on it? Who you think is going to win? There are so many different sides. People saying that Canelo is going to knock Terrence out. Terrence is going to outbox Canelo. Well, I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue to break this thing down as it goes on. But early on, I'm going to tell you that I like Terrence Crawford. I've said this on my show before. He's not a defensive fighter like Floyd Mayweather. But don't you be mistaken. Don't you be mistaken. He can box. But the weight, ladies and gentlemen, will the weight be the difference? Oh, no, not those head shots, not those body shots, but those shots to the arms. Canelo's going to be hitting him everywhere. Will he be able to sustain the punishment? Canelo Alvarez learned a very valuable lesson, ladies and gentlemen, when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. If you go back like I did, I've watched that fight probably literally 100 times. Many say that it was boring, but for me it wasn't boring. It's just another example how Floyd Mayweather schooled him. And ever since that fight, when Canelo Alvarez fought people that were in his weight division, not when he fought Bivol, who's a great fighter in the light heavyweight division, but every time he's fought somebody in his weight division or a little bit lower, you know what he would do. He would rat-tat-tat that you know what. And remember, it doesn't matter where you start at, it's where you finish at, because early on when he was fighting Amir Khan, remember Amir Khan had a glass chin, but Amir Khan had some of the fastest hands ever in boxing. And you see what happened when he got caught with a good shot. Will that happen to Terrence Bud Crawford? Or will Bud Crawford put on that weight and be able to sustain it and outbox Canelo Alvarez? It's going to be a fight, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be one of the greatest fights that we've seen in a long time. We've been waiting for it since we've seen the likes of the likes of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Everybody was excited when they saw Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. But what do you think is going to happen when this fight right here takes place? It's going to be incredible, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be incredible. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So now we want to talk a little bit about the National Basketball Association. Hey, I wanted to send shouts out to Derek Tatum, Jason Tatum, man. I hate to see the young man go down with an injury like that. Hopefully he can recover. The Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks went ahead and took him on out last night, as expected, because if the Knicks didn't take him out with Tatum, then you knew they were not for real. Okay, and also I want to tell you that the New York Knicks, the fans of New York, they have something to be excited about, because the Knicks play some good some good basketball, and they've got what it takes. They've got what it takes, but they're going to be moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Also, it showed a different side of Jason Tatum last night, ladies and gentlemen. Is he really just a number two? Is he really just basically a number two? Because last night, ladies and gentlemen, they didn't have anything. Derek White and them, nobody stepped up. So the Boston Celtics was last year an anomaly, ladies and gentlemen. Or did they face too many teams last season that were injury prone and had too many injuries, and that's why they were able to pull it out. The Indiana Pacers, ladies and gentlemen, they look extraordinary. The Indiana Pacers, man, they're putting up some shots. Tyrese Halliburton in the game, Pascal Siakam, and all those guys for the Indiana Pacers are playing some good basketball. Now, you've got a big-time showdown. That's going to be going. So many things in basketball that are going on right now. We don't want to overlook any of the teams, but we're going to continue. We're going to come back a little bit later on tonight, and we're going to talk about, we'll go a little bit more in depth about the NBA and the NBA playoffs. It's great, ladies and gentlemen. Sports is coming around, and you know school's about to be out in full now. Most of the country, and then you know what's going to be turning right around the corner. It's going to be time for that pigskin to be put back up. Yeah, it's going to be time for that pigskin to be put up, and I know that we're going to be starting our training program. Well, we got a couple of kids that are already in it, but we're going to intensify the workouts as we continue to get closer and closer to what we all love. We love that pigskin no matter where it is. We love it. Let's talk about the NFL draft some. So I started to drop a show about Shedeur Sanders, but you know, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of those things where it's pretty obvious that he was, I would say, blackballed. I'm not going to say it was Tom Brady's fault. I'm not Skip Bayless. I don't know. All I know is that unless you've been living under a rock or something, you know that the kid was better than where he got picked in the draft. It should have been, I thought he should have been the first pick. Okay, but the drop down weight like he did, that was something it was different. And then the prank phone call. I mean, in America, we continue to go through things that are just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And I don't seem to be able to understand, ladies and gentlemen, help me figure it out. The kid has never been in any trouble. Never heard anything bad about him. But yet and still, he had to go through all that to endure. Was it because of his father? Well, if that's the case, then that's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame, and you know we're going to cover all of that stuff. We're going to go into tonight when we're going to do an all-around show tonight. It's going to last a little bit, and we're going to talk about all the topics that are meaningful. And we're going to even drop a few dimes about Diddy and his ridiculous. He's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care who you are. He's ridiculous, some of the things that are coming out in court about Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Daddy Love. I'm going to call him a dumb-ass man is what I'm going to call him, a dumb dude. And we're going to touch on Shannon Sharpe and his legal troubles. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, heck of an afternoon. We've got the USFL. They're playing some good football. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into all those things tonight, but I definitely want to stop in and let you know, even though it's a couple of days later, MJ is going to be returning. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Bud Crawford, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in to the show tonight around 7 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to talk about it all, and we're going to lay it all on the line here at D9J Sports. Until the next time, I'm definitely OUT. I'm out.